So today we're going to be looking at trend lines and trend line breaks. Most specifically is trend line breaks because I know you guys want to make money on trend lines. I know you want to make money in the markets, and this strategy is very, very simple, and I've made profit 90% of the time, depending on news or fundamental analysis. But if we just look at the technicals for now, this strategy is crazy. It's very simple, and if you're a beginner or intermediate, or if you've been trading for many, many years, you know what I'm talking about. So if you're a beginner and you don't actually know how to trade trend lines, that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you step by step on how to first draw out a trend line, and then to find a break, and then once we found a break, then we can basically trade it, and then we're going to look at targets as well. We're going to look at targets, stop loss, everything in this video. So I'm going to try and explain this as quickly as possible for you guys, and hopefully it makes a lot of sense, and you'll be able to, by this video, you'll be able to trade it and then become very, very successful. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw out a trend line for you. Oh, I'm going to draw out the market. Let's say we're in the market right now, and the market is, we know, simple terms, uptrend and downtrend, right? So let's say we're on an uptrend. So if I just draw this out, real quick. So let's say we're on an uptrend like this. Obviously, the market is creating our higher highs over here. And then our market is also creating our lower highs over here. So when the market creates lower highs, higher highs, we know that this is an uptrend. So what we do is, if I just remove these quickly, what we do is, if this is the market, now this is a very perfect market, guys, but if we look at the market, if we just draw out a trend line, the way we want to draw out the trend line is, let me see if I can change the color. Let's make the trend line blue. Okay, so let's say, okay, we're not making it blue. Let me just, there we go. I'll just remove this. So let's say that we are drawing a trend line. We're going to draw a trend line that hits majority of the market. Okay, so let's say, let me just quickly draw another example where the market is, let's say the market just kind of didn't touch over here. So let's just say the market went down, then went up. Oh, sorry guys, I just want to make it a lot more easier for you guys. So let's say the market did this, where it didn't hit every single point, but it's hitting majority of the points. So we've got the blue trend line, and now the market is at this point over here, right? The market is at that point. What are we going to do? What are we anticipating? Well, there's two things we can anticipate, right? The first thing is anticipating either a break or bounce in the trend line. Now, if it's a bounce in the trend line, when there's a bounce in the trend line, it's very simple, because you just go look for a buying opportunity over here. So a bullish impulse over here, buying over here, and then trying to go for the upwards market, okay? Now, you can do that, right? But it's not going to be, it's, now you can do that, but that's not the trend line break that we want to see. Now, if we are seeing bounce of a trend line, it's very, very simple. Let me just show you guys. If we had a bounce of a trend line, so let's say 1, 2, 3, the market is coming down over here. Let's say the market is coming down, right? We buy over here. We first we wait for a bullish impulse or some sort of rejection to the trend line. We buy over here. Let's say we buy over here, and then we ride it to the previous highs. Very, very simple. Okay. Now, back to over here. Let's say so if I just remove this, let's say the market is heading its way down, but it breaks. Okay, it breaks this trend line. Okay, because that's what we're interested in. When you see a break of trend line, that's where we can get the best targets and the best moves. Obviously, if there is bounce of a trend line, which I am going to show you in the market as well, but if there is a bounce in a trend line, is very, very simple. Just basically buy on the dips, basically. It's very, very simple. I know most traders actually know how to trade that. If you don't, just basically it's every time price gets to a trend line, you want to buy, or every time price gets to a trend line when a downtrend, you want to sell. So let's then look at, let's say the market then continues to go down. The market continues to go down, and we're at our trend line over here, right? Oh, we're at a trend line over here. Price decides to go, and then what happens, right? Price then is, oops, damn, I'm bugging. Okay, so price goes down, and then it breaks right here. Okay, now what are we looking for? If price breaks, that just defeats the purpose of our trend line, right? Well, no, because when price breaks, we want to now look for entries as a reversal. Okay, so we're on the uptrend. Now we're looking for a downtrend, a bias to a downtrend. Now, when you are looking for a bias and a downtrend, there's a lot of indicators that you can use. There's a lot of reversals, candlesticks, all of this. But in plain, simple terms, the simplest move is just waiting for that little bit of retracement. Maybe, let's say there is some sort of support over here, looking for that retracement to this support. Okay, once we get the retracement to the support, let me just make an entry point green for you guys so you can actually see. And I'm not too sure why we can't. Oh, there we go. Let's make our entry points green. So let's say we are at our entry points green, and let's say we enter over here, right? Where is our targets now? First of all, we want to know our stop loss. Our stop loss is always going to be a few pips above this support, okay? Or resistance when it's become now, okay? Then where's our target? Well, our targets are also very, very simple. We need to have, in a trend line, you got point A. So this is point A, B, C, okay? What are we doing? Is we're expecting price to get to these levels. So what we're expecting is if price comes down to A, level A, right? Price gets to level A. So if we draw support level here, support level here, support level here. So in this example, we have three take profits. Okay, so take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. Okay, so whenever we have a trend line break, we have a break of structure, a retracement to either the support or the trend line, and then we go toward our targets. Our stop loss will be above the support or resistance, and our take profits 1, 2, and 3 would be so 1. So 1. Okay, it's not. So TP1, TP2, TP3. Okay, and that's how you would trade using the trendline break. Now I'm just going to quickly show you another example, but this time the market is on a downtrend. Okay, so let's say we're on a downtrend, so price goes up, then goes down, then goes up, goes down, goes up, down like this, and then we have one more, and then we're going down. All right, let me just make it because I did quite a lot over here. Okay, so we need to draw a trend line now, right? We're drawing a trend line. Let me just actually remove some of this because I feel like I won't have any space. So if I just, let's say we're anticipating over here, okay? So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a trend line. Again, let's just put this in the middle. We're gonna draw a trend line. So again, drawing a trend line. Remember, a trend line doesn't have to be the neatest trend line. It's just got to be hitting a majority of our candlesticks or wicks, depending on how you draw trend lines. I'm going to show you the market, guys. Don't worry. And let's say we're now on the up, trying to see the reversal. Let's say the market. First of all, if market comes to this point and the market comes to this point and it rejects. Let's say it goes to the downside. What are we doing? We're just gonna sell at its highest points, right? Sell at its higher highs. So again, How do we identify uptrends, downtrends? Downtrends are higher highs, sorry, lower highs, lower lows, right? Right here. Now, remember, these are our point A, this here, point B, this here, and this is basically our point C, but A and B has to be there, right? Our two targets, at least minimum two targets. I don't want you guys to be drawing a trend line and we're here, right? Because it's not a strong trend line, at least point A and B, okay? So we anticipate, we see a break of structure right over here. Break of structure, what we're doing, we're waiting for price. We're going to draw a resistance or support level now. We're waiting for price to bounce back, either at a trend line or here. And then we're going to see take profit 1 and take profit 2. We draw lines. So TP, TP. So this will be TP2, this is TP1. And this is going to be our entry right over here. Stop loss just below over here. Because if price does, right, end up coming down to our stop loss, we can then say this was just a fake out. And then it prevents us from not losing too much in the market because we have a nice stop loss. Whereas if we had a stop loss maybe at the previous low, so let's say our stop loss was over here, we would have this whole L over here. We have this whole loss over here when we could just be very, very conservative and very, very not conservative, aggressive and have our stop loss just below the trend line or a few pips below the support resistance. Because then what happens is if it does come down and it was a fake breakout, you won't take that loss. But let's say if price, let's say price rejects, so stop loss was over here, right? Price ends up rejecting over here, bullish impulse, we're buying, and then what's happened? Taper for 1, taper for 2. So now let's look at the market, guys. And as you can see, I've already got we're looking at gold. Gold is a very, very crazy market. So the reason why I'm showing you gold is because this is what happened last week, right? This happened last week, but it's a very, very good example. I personally, I trade gold. I know gold moves very, very hectic, but if we look at another chart, it'd be very, very simple. But the reason why I want to show you gold is because this is how the market is. It is hectic. It is crazy. But using our same concept, using our same rules, we get to trade the way we want to trade. Okay, we get to then anticipate the right moves because we know the concept. It doesn't matter how many wicks we see. It doesn't matter how many, how many crazy moves we see. We're waiting for our concept. Okay, so let me just remove our drawings for a second. And looking at, let me just make this bigger for us. Okay, let's actually just make it dark mode for you guys. I think I've got a template for this. Let's just make it right over here. Okay, so in dark mode, the reason why I like to have dark mode is because it makes the candlesticks much more easier to see. But as you can see over here, you can't really see a trend line break really, right? So let's actually have a look over here. So we can see that price comes down, makes higher highs, right? If I just draw, not higher highs, it makes a lower high, right? Lower high. Then it makes a higher high compared to this. And we just have lower lows, higher lows, and again, a higher low right here, okay? Now, let's just look at this little area over here. So if I just draw a box at this little area over here, let's look at this little area over here, okay? To make it easier for guys, we want to now draw a trend line. Now, this is the 50-minute chart. So this is, if you're an intraday or if you're a scalp, not really a scalper, but if you're an intraday trader, this is like the time frame you're looking for moves, right? So you see price did a big impulsive move. It is still kind of going in that uptrend. It's still, it created that lower high basically, right? This is the lows, then this is the new highs for that lows, then a new lower high and continue, right? By the way, guys, if I make a mistake saying lower highs and higher lows, it's like a tongue twister. But anyways, now we need to draw a trend line. So we draw a trend line. Now, some people draw trend lines at wicks. Me personally, I do trade trend lines in wicks because that's still part of a story of the candlesticks. Some people do draw trend lines at candlesticks, which again you can do. Is just your preference. It's literally the way you want. If that's how you trade, if that's how you want to trade, then that's entirely up to you. Now, me personally, I've just found it much easier and much better trading trend lines just by the wick. So the reason why it just makes it a lot more easier. So if we just get rid of this box, so now you know which area we're looking at. So you can see we have point A, and let me actually draw a horizontal raise at point A. So point A, that's not a horizontal line, my boy. Horizontal line or ray. Okay, so point A. Then this I wouldn't count as point B because it's too close. It's way too close to my point A. But this is point B for sure. Okay, so point B right over here. And the reason why I'm drawing this for you guys is just so that you understand. But let me even draw areas for you guys over here. So just draw a little area right over here and draw a little area right over here, just so that you understand how the point A and point B work. So let's say the market is right over here at the moment. You can see that price is rejected. Price is slowing down at this trend line. Now, guys, when price slows down at the trend line, it means there's going to be some sort of reversal or some sort of bounce. Okay, there's going to be some sort of impulsive move. You can see price is slowing down here. It's slowing down with the bodies, but the wicks are moving crazy, right? The wicks are moving crazy. Now, the biggest wick is this. Even though, right, this candlestick is crazy, right? Even though that price didn't actually make a body here, we now can anticipate that price is either going to go up or it's going to go down, okay? Now, what does price do? Well, price ends up breaking. If I go onto the 5-minute chart quickly for you guys, let's go to the 5-minute chart so that you can get that really nice look into the market. You can see that price on the 5 minutes, it comes, it breaks, hits our TP1 already. So if you're an aggressive trader and you're really aggressive, right? You could have placed your, let's say you could have sold when the market basically at the end of this candlestick, when the market is pushing down, and then your stop loss here, your take profit there, and your stop loss just above these highs. You would have hit profit, right? And then obviously you can go for your take profit too as well. And usually that is a good trade, but then you would have hit a loss because this is gold. It does move a bit more crazier, but let's just say price, let's say we're a bit more conservative, right? Price goes up, comes down again, and this time it properly breaks, huge body to the downside, properly breaks, and then we have like a kind of like a retest. Now this retest is not to its trend line, but this retest is like to the moving average, right? So what do? Okay, very simple. I want to place a trade. I'm interested in this area because it retraced to our trend line, and it also retraced to our area of support, right? If I just explain, area of support right here, okay? The reason why this is area of support because price has, there's a lot of wicks in here, and it's really, every time price got here, rejects, right? Over here, it comes down, it can't close, it closes in, right? It's really strong. It tries to break, then comes back up, broke, came right back up, and then supports over here as well, okay? Now it breaks down. What are we looking for now? We're looking for entries. We found an entry right here. Stop loss, well, we can just do it above the trend line, like what we said in our example when I was drawing it out. Now taper for 1 and taper for 2. Now taper for 1 is 1 to 2 to ratio, 1 to 2.25 ratio. Taper for 2 is a nice 1 to 3.46 ratio, okay? So 1 to 3.5, okay? Now, already, that's a good trade, okay? Already, that's a brilliant trade right here, okay? Because this is exactly what we meant. Now, confluences, well, if I just draw a text box, because I know you guys need to have confluences in your trade. First confluence is break of trend line, okay? Second confluence is a moving average retest, okay? Third confluence, well, we had a strong bearish candlestick, okay? Do we have any more confluences? Well, we can have a fourth confluence is retrace or slash retest to previous support. Well, now it's become resistance, right? 4 confluences, right? 4 strong confluences, meaning that the market should go in our direction. If it doesn't, it's just it's not your fault, it's just the market's fault. But if this happens, it's not your fault if it goes the wrong way, because you have four strong confluences. It should go in your direction, okay? And that's what happened. Now, if I just remove all of this, the reason why I like the setup is because we then had another breaker structure. You guys probably don't even notice it. We had another breaker structure because when we had, sorry, if I just go back for a second, we saw that this is an uptrend, right? Well, guess what, guys? We also had a downtrend. Now, this is for people who were bearish on gold. They had this move set up, okay? Now, this is the downtrend. Now, let's just remove all of this so that it makes it easier for you guys to see. And this is why I like, this is why I use this example specifically, is because this example had a uptrend and downtrend in the same time scale, basically in the same time frame. Okay, so if I go back on the 50-minute time frame, you can see we had a small kind of trend line. I know that is very, very small. It's not like the bit, like we're not on a 4-hour chart looking for big time trend lines. Again, if you are trying to draw the strongest trend line, the higher the time frame, the stronger the trend line. Okay, this is a 50-minute chart. Again, looking for a move, right? We see that this is a trend line. Why? Because we've got point A and point B. If we go back on the 50-minute chart actually, so I can just draw some areas for you guys. Where is the market? Where are you? Right here. Okay. So if I just draw point A, same concept, guys. Same concept. We're not changing anything on point B, right? To point A and point B. We see price gets to our trend line. This time is much more smoother, right? Already we can see price has created a lower high over here. Then it created over here. It's created a higher low, right? Because this is the lower high. If it was continuing to go down, it would have created. This is the higher low for us, right? So we're gonna mark up this area, higher low for over here, right? Higher low, first confluence, right? Just gonna delete this real quick. First confluence, higher low, okay? Already indicating that price could be going towards the upside. Third confluence, breaker structure, right? What happens next? Well, we have a trend line, not a trend line retest, but we have a moving average retest. Can you guys see this, right? Moving average retest. If you haven't seen my moving average video, go check it out because I explained to you what moving averages I use and how I use them. But we have a moving average retest, right? What happens next? Well, let's say we are conservative and we're waiting for this candlestick to stop, right? Well, there's plenty of entries because we had a moving average retest over here, multiple moving average retests here, multiple times we could have entered, right? Let's say we enter at a lovely moving average retest. Let's say right after this candlestick. We're trying to rush this move, right? Well, stop loss just below this trend line because just in case price does get to the trend line, we are safe and we get to hold majority of our account and we don't just lose our account. Now, take profit 1. Take profit 1 is not the best. It's a 1 to 1.28 ratio, but based on this concept, we know that it's going to go there. So that's take profit 1. Now, take profit 2 is a bit more better for us because we then have a 1 to 2.5 basically risk to reward ratio, right? Now that's a trade that I wouldn't mind doing. And what happens if we just have a look? And yeah, price hits our take profit again. Same concept. Now this time round, price is more like a sniper entry because price, we barely had any drawdown, right? We had multiple entries right here. Not only have we had multiple entries, we can see that we're starting to build higher highs, lower highs. Again over here, this is like a kind of like a double top. It could have faked you out, but look, then price ended up doing another higher high, right? When it created this higher high, you know that you can then move that stop loss to break even and then have a risk-free trade and just let it ride to your take profit 2, okay? But take profit 1, take profit 2, because point B and point A, it's always going to do that, guys. It's always, always, always going to do that, okay? So if I just bring it back to myself quickly, let's just bring it back to myself. So in case you didn't understand or I was a bit too fast, trendline breaks is very, very simple for you guys. It's the same concept all the time. It's just repeat, repeat, repeat. Make sure you guys repeat. Make sure you don't just trade and then if you hit your first loss, you're just moving strategies. if you have a strategy, stick to the strategy and keep repeating, keep using the strategy, because the strategy will work for you guys. The strategy will work if you just repeat. It might not work the first time, might not work the second time, but I guarantee you after 10 tries, you'll at least have, 6 or 7 profits, right? And I've been doing it for 3 years. I've been using the same strategy, breaker structure, trend lines. I've been using the same strategy, right? And it's worked out for me. So it is very, very simple. It's not difficult. You barely need any, you don't actually need any indicators for this. All you need is, sorry, I keep looking at this screen because that's my monitor. The camera's here. But literally just keep trading and keep practicing the same strategy because it will work for you guys. Now, um, I hope you lot enjoyed this video. I hope you lot actually understood something. And if you actually understood and you actually made it to this end of the video, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like this video. And if you haven't already, and make sure you guys comment down below that you actually made it to the end of the video, because that will actually show me my true supporters. And I love to see who actually, is my true supporters and who actually supports me and who actually wants to help build this community. And if you have subscribed, also let me know down in the comments below so that I know that you're a new subscriber and we can welcome you. And other than that, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video and I'll see you lot in my next trading video.